Should I turn on the other light? Hey Seekers! Hey Seekers! Hey Seekers!
One eternity later.
Hey Seekers, and welcome to a new video. Today we'll be talking about the books that are coming out in 2020. So basically what every booktuber is talking about right now, but I'm fine with that, honestly. I'm going to be talking about 12 books are coming out this year. All of these books really excite me, even if most of them I just discovered making this video. So I'm really excited about that. And also, I think some of these books are not being talked about right now, and I don't know why. So yeah, let's get started with it. So I'm going to be talking about these books in release order. So basically I'll talk about the books that are coming out first, and then I'll talk about the rest of them as logical. The first book that is coming out this year has actually already been published. It published the 14th of January, and it is Infinity Sun by Adam Silvera. I'll put an image of the book here, or leave a space for it. But basically, Adam Silvera is becoming one of my favorite authors, probably. I've read only 2 books by him, which are More Happy Than Not and History Is All You Left Me. And, well, History Is All You Left Me is one of my favorite books, and it made me cry so much. It was one of the saddest books I've ever read, and I also really loved More Happy Than Not. I read it last year. This one is a fantasy one, actually, and I'm not quite sure what it is about. So from what I've read, this is a fantasy book that is about these 2 brothers that live in a world with magic, and people have powers, like superpowers, and there's vigilantes and stuff. And this is like a very violent world, and everyone's fighting each other. So even if I didn't know anything about this book, I just know what I've told you so far, I'm really excited about it because it's Adam Silvera, and I completely trust him. So yeah. The next book that I want to read this year is Race to the Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I probably haven't said her name right, but sorry for that. So this is a book published under the Rick Riordan Presents banner. And as you probably know, Rick Riordan is the writer of the Percy Jackson series and all the books in that universe. And I absolutely adore the Percy Jackson series and basically everything I've read by him. I still haven't read the Kane Chronicles and Magnus Chase, but I'll get to it as soon as possible. But this is like a publishing thing he created where he promotes writers from cultures that are not very known, or not as known as, for example, Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, Norse mythology, etc. And he's basically promoting authors like this one to tell stories like embracing the mythology and culture of their own. And Race to the Sun is a book that takes place in a world where the Navajo mythology is real. Well, that's the thing that all Rick Riordan's books follow, but I love mythology and different cultures and everything. And a few years back, I developed an interest for the Navajo culture, but I actually don't know much about it, and I would love to. Fuck! They lied to me. Thank you. Need to read this year is Blood. Oh, fuck. My elbow. Really. So the next book being released this year that I really need to read is Black Countess. This book tells the story of Anna Darbolia, a girl that has started working for a countess in Hungary and has found out that there's something wrong with this woman. This book is inspired by the history of Countess Elizabeth Bathory de Exed, which was a countess that was born in the year 1560 and died in the year 1614. This is basically the biggest woman serial killer of all history. This woman used to kill her mates and then bathe in their blood because she thought it would make her younger. From what I've read, it's so interesting, and you must know that I love horror, so I'm really excited about this book, and I really would like to read this book just because it's based on this Sorry, I'm just like all over the place. A book that I absolutely need in my life right now is Heartstopper Volume 3. This book is coming out the 6th of February and I'm living for it. I read like volumes 1 and 2 last month and I reread them at the start of this one and I absolutely loved them and I just want to continue reading from this tube because Nick and Charlie are the cutest couple ever and you cannot deny it. Another book that I just found out too is a book called The Gravity of Us by Phil Stamper and I literally know nothing about this book. I just know that it has beautiful cover, it is about 2 gay boys and it has something to do with space and stars or like NASA and I love astrophysics so I think this is a perfect book for me. I literally don't know anything about it, but it's just, the cover is just so beautiful and have you heard it? Just in case you want to know the actual description of this book. So yeah, it sounds amazing. All Your Twisted Secrets is a YA book that is going to be published the 17th of March of this year and it's apparently going to be a thriller and I didn't know much about this book neither, but from what I've read it reminds me a lot of Agatha Christie and it reminded me of And Then There Were None, which is my favourite Agatha Christie book and one of my favourite books in general. It seems like it plays a little bit on the tropes of high school. It's kind of like a mix between Saw and Then There Were None. So I'm dying for it because I love both of those stories. So yes, I really need to read it right now. So the time has come to talk about one of the most weighted books for this year, and that is My Dark Vanessa. This is a hard-hitting contemporary that is going to be coming out the 31st of March this year, and it looks like it's going to break me, but at the same time I need to read it, and it looks incredible. It seems like it's going to be really hard to read, and I'm here for it. This book is about this woman that when she was in high school used to date one of his teachers, and when she has grown up, like, statements have come up that this teacher was actually an abuser, and she starts rethinking her relationship with this teacher and she starts realizing that she was abused. This book takes place between the past and the present, and in the past we see her as she falls in love with this teacher and she doesn't realize that she's being taken advantage of, and the present when she starts reliving all of these things and realizes what really happened. And now the book that absolutely everyone is waiting for, and that is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by, obviously, Suzanne Collins. So this is the prequel to the Hunger Games that no one knew that was going to be published, or that no one knew that they wanted. And you probably already know about this one because who hasn't read the Hunger Games, right? Well, actually, I did not finish the Hunger Games. So like 3 years ago, I read like the first 2 books in the Hunger Games trilogy, The Hunger Games and Catching Fire, and I absolutely adored them. What happened was that after that I watched the movies and I didn't read Mockingjay because I didn't really like the films. And yeah, the same thing happened to me with Divergent, so yeah. But I was planning to do a reread of the whole trilogy, and this is the perfect moment to catch up before the prequel. All the information we have about the prequel is this. The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes will revisit the world of Panem 64 years before the events of the Hunger Games, starting on the morning of the reaping of the 10th Hunger Games. And yeah, we don't know anything else, but everyone is waiting for it because the Hunger Games was amazing, and I'm absolutely waiting for whatever Suzanne Collins has for us, and yeah, really excited. So we've arrived to the end of this video, so if you liked it, make sure to leave a big like down below, subscribe and follow me on my social media, which will be linked down below too, and on my main channel, which will be down and over there probably. Also, if you know of any other books that are going to be published this year and that you think I would like or that I should read, just leave them in the comments down below and I'll try and make sure to read them. Thanks for all and bye.